So let's get right to it. We're going to talk about the game review. And like I do during my halftime reports during the regular season, I give a good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get right to that. Oh, yeah. So let's get to the good. These guys are running the ball. This is 2 weeks in a row. And it's not just Zamir White. We got 140 rushing yards in the game. And Josh Jacobs didn't even play in this game. I am very confident in this running game. And it goes right down the line. I'm seeing something systemic, which makes me feel good. And it kind of goes in line with the Josh McDaniels type offense, where he uses different players. Total running back by committee. It's still working. Of course, we still want to see the ones out there, but so far, so good. And then the goal line. We stopped these guys in the goal line area twice. They had to settle for field goals. There was one who they were on like the 1 yard line. I don't know why they didn't go for it. Kind of lame, to be honest with you. Especially there was a nice play by Billings, the defensive tackle. Andrew Billings stood out to me there. Overall, real good. Kind of bend it, but don't break. Well, we'll get to that bend part in a minute. As far as the bad goes, still questioning this offensive line. I'm pressing the panic button right now, especially at the left tackle position. They put Luminor there for time. He looked completely lost, honestly. They put him back to guard. He was fine. Alex Bars, left guard, terrible. This guy has been in the league, 4 years? He doesn't know how to play a stunt. Here's Alex Bars right here. Missing his guy on the stunt. Here comes a defensive tackle. Gets outsped by a defensive tackle, trying to grab. Here's Stidham, gonna take a hit. Similar to what we're seeing last week, a lot of hits on the quarterback. They had 4 sacks in the game. Again, I know it's not the starters. I know Colton Miller wasn't out there, but this is getting worrisome to me, especially if Colton gets hurt. The only one I saw that was adequate at left tackle that they put in there was Jackson Barton, and he wasn't that great. I would say he was average, and he was playing against second and third stringers anyway, so that's a big problem for me. The special teams, they got that opening kickoff for a, quote, touchdown, but I got called back on a flag. Now, some people say, well, they got that far because they held. Maybe, but we saw that last week where we got bailed out on a flag, and then they had that nice run back in the second half. This kind of goes back to that new special teams coach, Tom McMahon from Denver, had the bottom kick and punt returns allowed, and it's kind of still showing here, and that worries me. And then the last one, I'm going to call it kind of bad light. And it was some of the play calling in the red zone kind of had me scratching my head. I know it's the preseason. I know they're just trying different things. They're shuffling offensive linemen all around. I saw it. That's fine. But some of the things that kind of made me scratch my head, they had 4th and 1, and they run Kenyon Drake up the middle. Kind of more of a smaller, shiftier guy, pass-catching kind of guy. Why didn't they use Zamir? Why didn't they use Britton Brown there? This was in the first half. And then they tried running a sweep with Zamir White. I mean, that's where you use Kenyon Drake to run on the outside. So I know they're trying to... I hope I don't see that kind of stuff. I just don't think they were using the proper personnel for what they were trying to do there. And let's get to the ugly. And we got to talk about this. The running game. I mean, our front seven got destroyed, especially the defensive tackles. They gave up 115 yards on 22 carries. That's over 5 yards per carry. And that includes the quarterbacks running. If you took them away, it'd even be higher as far as yards per carry. Just getting absolutely mauled, especially in the second quarter and some in the third quarter. Here's the left side of the defense, right side of the offensive line, completely closing up. No ceiling. This is the running back that already has the ball. Look at this. A freight train can run through here. This outside linebacker is going to be blocked, and so these safeties are going to have to make the play 5-10 yards up. This is ridiculous. This wasn't the only play. This was a lot like this. This needs to be cleaned up. I expected a little bit more from Patrick Graham. I know some of the personnel aren't going to be here, like I would say Tyler Lancaster. I think he was actually getting knocked around on this play in particular, but still, this is beyond just bad play. They're all getting blocked. Look at this. Is absolute nonsense. If you watch that drive in the second half near the end of the halftime, they just being more physical than us, so that cannot happen anymore. And I just took a picture of Josh McDaniels here. This was during the 2-minute warning. So this was that last drive. And you could tell he was pissed off. And frankly, I was too when I saw that.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization. And you tell them one thing. Just win, baby.